A couple months ago, my partner Grace and I went to Taiwan and stayed a night at the country's first ever 5-star hotel, the Grand Hotel. Located midway up a mountain in Taipei called Yuanshan, the hotel is immediately recognisable for its beautiful, traditional design in red and gold, with all angles of the building displaying the balconies of its various rooms. Although the hotel is located a fair distance away from many other landmarks in Taipei, it's still a key figure in the city's skyline that you'll see many times if you ever visit. The hotel has played a pretty significant role in Taiwan's history to date, so Grace and I decided to experience it for ourselves. Here's our review and a full tour of the hotel and its grounds. In 1949, the Republic of China's government, led by a man called Chiang Kai-shek, relocated to Taiwan. Chiang wanted to build a place to accommodate and impress foreign dignitaries. That place ended up being the Grand Hotel that was first established in 1952. The main building that's most recognizable opened a couple decades later and was designed by an architect called Yang Cho-chung, who's also responsible for other landmarks in the city, like the National Theatre and Concert Hall, which closely resemble the Grand Hotel with their stunning traditional designs. Long story short, the hotel succeeded in its mission and has hosted a variety of notable guests, particularly some of the most iconic people of the 20th century, like Dwight Eisenhower, Nelson Mandela, Richard Nixon and Margaret Thatcher. It was also the place in which the country's current ruling party, the Democratic Progressive Party, was founded. More recently, the hotel was a symbol of hope during the COVID-19 pandemic, with rooms lit up displaying uplifting messages across the 285-foot tall building. This is probably the first hotel I've stayed at where the building itself is a landmark that's oozing history. Take this Golden Dragon fountain as an example. It looks like another stunning decoration, but the statue itself is actually over 100 years old and is from an old shrine built during the Japanese colonial era that was in the same spot as the Grand Hotel is today. But by far the most surprising and impressive part of the Grand Hotel are its two secret underground passageways that were only opened for public viewing a few years ago. The tunnels were built to protect Taiwan's leader Chiang and any other foreign dignitaries staying at the hotel in the event of an attack, either by mainland China or another power in what was the middle of the Cold War. The west tunnel you see here is recognizable for its 20-meter long slide that was built for Chiang, with the idea to help the leader, who was in his 80s at the time, escape faster. He never actually used the slide, but did apparently inspect the construction of the tunnels a couple times. Each of the passages takes you a fair enough distance from the hotel, and each is designed with meticulous detail to help evade pursuers. First off, each have curved designs that would make it hard for someone to get a clear shot at you. The ceilings of each also have a unique design and are made from a material that helps to obscure sound, making it unclear where others inside are located. In our tour of both passageways, which I highly recommend and are run by extremely knowledgeable volunteers, we were also told the lights in each are resistant to explosions, so yeah, they really went all out here. The west tunnel takes you to an area called Tiantan Park, while the east leaves you in what's called the Secret Garden. Both exits are protected by a 90cm thick wall that blends into the exterior design of the hotel. The Grand Hotel's secret garden is beautiful and smells incredible. You can tell all the flowers and their arrangements are taken care of with meticulous detail, and we also happened to have glorious sunshine on our visit that made it all the more attractive. At the end of the 112-meter long garden is the former residence of a woman by the name of Kung Ling Wei, who was the first general manager of the Grand Hotel. You'll notice the design of her residence is extremely different to the rest of the hotel. That's because she apparently grew up in a Western-style house in the Shanghai International Settlement. Inside the house are a bunch of notable items, like two chairs that belonged to Chiang Kai-shek and his wife, Song Mei-ling, an elaborately carved rosewood screen, silverware, and more. My favourite part of the house was seeing a bunch of photos showing the construction of the Grand Hotel, particularly its underground east and west passageways. The residence only opened to the public recently, and it's pretty cool to see a house that's been undisturbed for 30 years or so. Grand Hotel has multiple restaurants, but for our night in the hotel we decided to dine at the Grand Garden restaurant, that's famous for its huge buffet featuring over 100 dishes with a varied selection of Taiwanese, Japanese and Western food. I'm not sure about you, but usually when I go to a buffet I find the quality of each dish is lessened significantly when compared to a more traditional restaurant. That's still the case for the Grand Hotel's buffet in my opinion, but we're talking razor thin margins between the two instead of a colossal gap. As you can see, the buffet area is huge, and a bunch of the food areas have an open style kitchen behind them, allowing you to see the chefs making the delicacies. The food here is delicious, and there's so much of it. We're talking all kinds of beef, duck and pork, along with sushi, wide varieties of fish, as well as dim sum like pork buns, shao mai, and much, much more. Naturally, there's always room for dessert, and yes, there's tons of varieties to choose from, with my favourite being a stand near the entrance with a great deal of delicious cakes and mochi. Editing this video and seeing all the food in the buffet again has instantly made me want to go back. So yes, I really recommend trying out the Grand Garden restaurant if you stay at the hotel. Facilities-wise, the Grand Hotel has it all. There's an Olympic-sized swimming pool, tennis courts, sauna, and a lounge area with table tennis, pool, and more. These are all great, but my only gripe is they're all located at a deceptively far distance from the hotel itself. There's a little shuttle bus that will take you to them, but to walk is about 15 minutes along roads which don't have dedicated pavement for pedestrians. Once you're there, it's all great, of course. In the hotel itself, there's a gym with a decent amount of equipment too. Naturally, when you stay at the Grand Hotel, you want your room to have one of the balconies you can see from the outside that are so iconic. These don't come with standard rooms. Due to the nature of the hotel's box-like design, all of the standard, cheapest rooms don't have any windows, so make sure to double check when booking. We went for whatever the cheapest room with a balcony was, and we were very pleasantly surprised. First off, the bed was absolutely massive, so much so that I had to measure it. It came in at just over 200 centimeters wide, which is gargantuan. Most importantly though, it was supremely comfy. Then there's the balcony. We had a mountain view which was beautiful, but you can also pay a bit more to see Taipei City if you want to gaze over at the likes of Taipei 101 while laying in bed. Overall, the room's design fits wonderfully in with the traditional design of the rest of the hotel, with my favourite little detail being the artwork on the wall above the bed. Bathroom wise, you get a toilet from the future if you live in the West, along with a bathtub and a shower. Another great little touch of the hotel I want to call out is the live music that's played in the centre of the lobby throughout the day. There's a piano that was manned pretty regularly throughout our stay, and during our evening there we were also treated to a violin performance. Much of the city of Taipei is located in a basin surrounded by mountains, which means there are a ton of hiking trails you can go on that give you amazing opportunities to look down at the city. One of these is called the Yuanshan Trail that's located right next to the Grand Hotel. It took us probably half an hour or so to get to one of the trail's viewing spots that provides a marvellous view of the Grand Hotel, its giant pool, and the rest of Taipei. For me, seeing Taipei's skyline never gets old, particularly Taipei 101, which has such distinct architecture, as well as Songshan Airport, which isn't the city's biggest airport, but has regular flights to the likes of Korea and Tokyo. And there's something about seeing planes constantly taking off and landing so close to the city that I find pretty cool. So, if you're staying at the Grand Hotel, definitely give this hiking trail a go. The stunning view you get at the top is well worth the ludicrous amount of stairs you'll need to climb. Overall, our single night stay at the Grand Hotel cost Grace and I around £300. That's for the room, the buffet dinner, and tours of each of the secret tunnels. While I don't think the Grand Hotel is practical to stay at for someone's entire stay in Taipei, mainly due to its lack of quick transport links into the city, I really recommend it for a night or two to experience the beautiful, traditional architecture in person, the amazing service, and to learn about its pretty interesting and significant history. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like as it really does help the channel grow, and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching.